Alright, this is your luck again. It's Wednesday, September 7th, 2016. I gotta tell you, I don't know what to call this one. Urine in Rome. Or Romans were pissed off. I don't know. The reason why I'm recording this is just because it just seemed funny to me. So just to throw it out there because maybe people might not know this and somebody might be interested in something like this. And I actually am, because different things I'm studying now just has me wanting to learn of the kind of atmosphere and culture, that surrounded the different time periods that I'm studying and the different peoples that I'm studying and learning about, right? So now, like, if you are reading something in the scriptures, yeah, sure, you break out your lexicons and so on, and you're checking the Hebrew and all that, and but I kind of want to get a little bit more feel for the actual atmosphere or climate that might have surrounded the time period that I'm reading about, right? To give me a more fuller, more rounded understanding of what would have been going on at the time, to see why the person or the prophet expressed that at that time, why the Most High was saying it like this or that. It just so happens that while doing that, I came up on this article from ancient-origins.net/comment/19343. This article, dated July 12, 2015, so that's about a year ago, is entitled "Money Does Not Stink: The Urine Tax of Ancient Rome." And I guess I got to reading it because I was just reading something else about the Vatican being asked to pay taxes to Italy, apparently, and it seems like Rome doesn't really pay. They don't deal with taxation, right? Like that. Like, of course, we pay taxes to them, but anyway. So eventually, I came up to reading this article, and here's what it's saying. It's kind of funny, but it's shocking actually. The ancient Romans have passed many traditions on to modern day society, but they certainly had a different perspective on urine. Urine like pee, right? It was seen as much more useful than today. So here am I thinking that they're gonna tell some real neat stuff that they did with it to, I don't know, I don't know. They use animal stuff, feces or whatever for, what do you call it now, for manure, or I don't know, to do whatever. But instead it goes on to say they use it as a cleaning agent for washing their clothes. In our vernacular, it was their laundry detergent. They're doing laundry with urine. Now let me tell you. I mean, if you drop your clothes off at the cleaners, I don't know, you finish that. But basically, I mean, if you happen to have some accident, you pee yourself, right? For some reason, whatever. Or have you ever seen, like, the elderly, right? Like in seniors' home. They pee themselves, right? And they're really sick and all, they can't move themselves. And they pee themselves. If they just sit there, it really smells strong, right? It smells bad. You usually wash that. Today we would wash that to get rid of the urine smell. But they're saying here that the ancient Romans, they actually washed their clothes in it. Now, if that isn't bad enough, the Romans had like public baths, right? Like a lot of people would go in to these baths. It wasn't just like a personal stuff where you have your own shower. stuff with a door on it, and there's like lots of those stalls. It's like it's like an open concept kind of thing. Can you imagine a lot of people going into one of these baths and just peeing like crazy throughout the day? I mean, I just don't understand. Yeah, because they would scoop that up, somehow save that, and wash their clothes in it. And here the next part. It goes on to say they also brush their teeth as well as for using it for tanning leather. Now, I mean, they're washing their clothes in urine, not even their own urine like each person uses, but just from the public in general. Now, you know, when a toilet isn't flushed, you go in a public washroom in a mall and people don't flush that. And you really have to go, so you use that anyway, and it just stay, and everybody come and use it and they won't flush it. Well, it's broken or something. And that stuff stinks up the whole washroom. And when it gets really bad, if it sits there for a while, you gotta like hold your nose, pull your t-shirt over your nose or something, and it's like, man, you just need to get up so you can breathe again. These guys, they were washing their clothes in this. They're washing their clothes in this. I mean, it's just really shocking to me, right? And as if that was enough, they were brushing their teeth with this urine. Can you imagine sending your child down to the local public bathroom with a bottle, like some clay pottery or something, or an old milk bottle or whatever? Tell him to fill this up and bring it back. Because mommy and daddy needs to brush your teeth in the morning. I mean, I just, I mean, this is just hilarious. So, you know, my next thought, well, let's read this first. Ancient laundries even used to collect urine in giant clay pots. This was like big business, big operation, which were placed out in public for people to relieve themselves. In public. I guess they didn't like pissing on the walls. Eventually, so much urine was used and collected that a tax was imposed by the Roman emperor. A tax just for peeing. Can you imagine that? Now you aren't surprised with all these taxes that we have to deal with today. They just made up this tax. Right? And I guess they had this saying, money does not stink. So pay your taxes, kind of thing, right? There was a famous phrase coined as a result of this tax levied by the emperors Nero and Vespasian in the 1st century AD. I mean, they even got names with this thing. Like, this is crazy. Now, I have to tell you, maybe it doesn't sound fair. And maybe it's kind of, you know, I don't know. But I couldn't help myself thinking after reading this. And you're not going to find this in history books or anything. It's just my thought. I couldn't resist the thought of thinking, no wonder the Hebrews ran from them out of Jerusalem. Because once these guys took over, it must have been a stinking place. I mean, I'm sure people are going to say, no, it didn't smell like that. Like, please, come on. If you are having to deal with people who regularly wash their clothes, they do their laundry and their children's laundry, the whole house laundry in old urine that's starting to grow a film on top, because you got to store up enough of this so you don't run out of soap. In a house back in those days that didn't have air conditioning, although they have some primitive type of air conditioning system, we know that, right? But normally the average person wouldn't have no air conditioning, right? And they got to store up that stuff and wash their clothes in it, and in the hot sun, sunny daytime hours, that urine itself in the bottles plus the urine stained clothes was just boiling up in those bedrooms and living spaces in the heat of the day. Oh man, I just don't know. Like, wouldn't these people stink? And I'm not saying that in any kind of, this is just history, and I'm just like trying to wrap my mind around it. I mean, can you then see? I mean, I did this. This is just crazy. So my part about the Hebrews running, that was just funny stuff, right? But I mean, really, it's just really what came to my mind. Like, I mean, they must have had some relief running. One, they're going to save their life by running. But the next thing is that this is like, it stinks here. It really stinks. Can you imagine having to talk to a lot of these people? This video, I'm surprised if it won't get taken down or something. But it's like, I don't know, like, if I have to talk to people every day surrounding me, like 100 people, I go down to the market and you get like 1,000 people all wash their clothes in urine and they brush their teeth, and you're asking them how much for that lettuce, and when they open their mouth to tell you, it's like, man, couldn't you just like write it like in a sign or something like that? Oh man, they're washing their clothes and brushing their teeth with public urine. Not just their own, but public urine. And these, like people like Nero and Vespasian, these were rulers of the time and your intellectuals in Rome and so on. I mean, I don't know. Can you imagine just taking a shower, dressing up and going to work in the morning in ancient Rome? And, you stand and look in your mirror when you get ready to go to work to jump in the car now. But back then it's like they're fixing themselves up and, stretching their clothes on them and they're brushing the clothes with their hands like, oh, I'm ready to go. And they smell like, oh, gee, this is crazy. If you're interested, read the rest of it here, ancient-origins.net. The uses of urine in ancient Rome. While today we flush our urine away without giving it a second thought, in ancient times it was considered a valuable commodity. Okay, now they're going to tell you urine contains an important array of minerals and chemicals such as phosphorus and potassium. The Romans believed that urine would make their teeth whiter and keep them from decaying. So they used it as a mouthwash. Come on. Now this is just history, so I mean, don't me really argue with me. Like this is, and these are my words. I'm reading. It says they use it as mouthwash. I'm not sure if the person really intended to say mouthwash, or that they use it as mouth something else, like mouth contamination of mouth. I don't know, something like, I don't know. Like, I mean, this is crazy. Now, I do remember in slavery, like in the islands, they would poo and pee in the slaves' mouth of our people, of our ancestors, right? Like down in Jamaica, and that was punishment, and they would seal up the slaves' mouth to make them swallow it and so on. So if slave owners thought that that was degrading and some kind of good, although good is a bad word to use, right? A kind of punishment for slaves, right? If slaves were revolting or trying to run away, whatever, you would pee in their mouth or poo in their mouth, and that really happened. How is it that people in our times could think that some kind of a punishment or penalty for trying to escape or something is to pee in your mouth? But back then, these guys were saying we're using it as mouthwash. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And these are the people who built up the Western world to where it is today. Like, I mean, you know, don't be mad at me. Like, I'm reading a document that's online that apparently from, they're quoting also stuff from Wikimedia Commons and giving dates and so on. Vespasian Arius Fortuna 75 to 79 AD, right? Showing coins and so on. So they're backing all this stuff with saying these people really lived and whatever, and these are their coins or whatever, and they passed these laws for urine taxation, so on. But it's just that it's just difficult to wrap my mind around this. Like how, I mean, just that's like crazy. We have all this talk about sanitation today. So they would mix this urine as mouthwash with pumice to make toothpaste. Oh my goodness, hear this. It says, in fact, urine was so effective that it was used in toothpaste and mouthwashes up until the 1700s. That's while we were in slavery, right? Our people. And still are. Basically, we're just doing it in a different kind of way. I don't know, this is crazy. As far as the Romans were concerned, the best and therefore the most expensive urine, so there were grades of this thing, on the market came from the country of Portugal. Oh my goodness. So they imported, they moved this stuff around. It was supposedly the strongest urine in the world, and thus the choice for whitening teeth. Now, not coloring teeth, not making it yellow or brownish, but it would whiten it. Though most people would decline the option of today, would decline the option of a urine-based toothpaste, they're saying here that it actually worked. That's because urine contains ammonia, which is used in many household cleaners today. Well, yeah, ammonia is used like that. Ammonia will help stop stuff from freezing too easily as well. But I don't know. If you leave urine out in an open vat, it turns stale and produces ammonia through interaction with the air. In Roman times, this was then used for laundry due to the ammonia content. Urine was also important for the textiles industry, which was a booming trade during the Roman Empire. Urine was also used to bleach wool or linen and tan leather. Okay. Oh my goodness, there were even urine tax collectors. Oh my goodness. So, I don't know, this is a funny kind of recording here, but I mean, this is crazy. It's just that, I mean, even if this thing contains ammonia, if left for a while, I'd rather just wash my clothes with some water. Like, really. We used to use, when I was growing up as a boy, we used to wash our hands with the skin or like the shell from ackee. After you peel the ackee, you take out the, not peel it, but you open it, you take out the ackee from inside. Then we used to wash our hands with the, I don't know what you call it, the outer shell or skin part of it, right? And it would kind of get slightly sooty, you know. So, I mean, there could have been some other ways to just wash your clothes and especially brush your teeth. Well, I don't use toothpaste anymore. Not because of this, but I haven't used it for about a year now. You know, I brush my teeth all the way. But, yeah, I just, I don't know. Thankfully people weren't being persecuted based on resisting washing their clothes like this or brushing their teeth with urine, because I'm sure a lot more people would have died and so on. But I don't know. Weird story. Check it out. Man.